All right. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Dorsey's Resource. The topic of this video is going to be at Dorsey's Resource. This is free flow, open topic Q&A, pretty much. So I want to go over, reiterate things I've gone over in the past. Not really sure how many people I'm going to get in the chat. This is to reiterate also Q&A, so you guys are welcome to ask questions. Looks like we had just 2 people so far. First, before we get started, this video is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his or her homework and research into this matter being discussed. This information is not to be construed as legal advice. In an event you feel you need to seek a competent professional, it is encouraged you do so at one's own leisure. Dorsey's Resource is not liable or responsible for any misuse of this information. These are simply my opinions on the topic. With that being said, all rights are reserved. Now, I want to thank you guys for joining me. Welcome. Turn this down. Okay. All right. Greetings, says someone in the chat. Demetrius stating greetings to you as well. Just to let you guys know, this is also Q&A, so you guys are welcome to jump in. I will do my level best to try to keep up as I'm going over, but I'm going to go over things that I've discussed in the past just to bring you guys up to speed. It's like a recurring topic. I go over must-watch documentaries. Those of you all who are into the reset, Terry McLaughlin says, how you doing, man? I'm doing great. I can't complain. You know, at the end of the day, it is for what it is. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm still here. I've also been trying to be quiet about certain things. Sylvia Miles says, great. Says Terry McLaughlin says, good to see you again on here. Appreciate it. Appreciate the shout out. Most definitely. Okay. So I had got a message from somewhere. It says, Facebook popped up, by the way. By the way, in case you guys are not aware, I do hear Facebook is under investigation. I don't know if it's by the Department of Justice. The mainstream media has been hush-hush about this, but I hear that they are actually under some type of investigation. I don't know for sure. It's like some more people jumped in the chat. So let me see if I can pull the messages back up. Okay, it says Infinite Wave. How you doing, Infinite? All is well. Thank you for joining. Jason Durham says, okay, brother. Sylvia Miles says, this is my first time on. I'm excited to hear what you have to share. Okay. Appreciate it. Okay, just checking there. Yeah, without further ado, must-watch documentaries, reoccurring thing that I always go over in case to help you guys understand this information and the reason why I don't go over certain high-level information that I am aware about. I don't know everything, and I do feel the stuff that deals with the redemption education, there's like another elite level where they have the cheat sheet. There's like a few people that basically are pulling the strings real high up behind the reset and things that they ultimately are going to decide when the button is pushed. But it does appear as though certain individuals that were really in the know are selective, and they've compartmentalized how much of the correct information they share. The rest of the information throughout the years, just to let you guys know, a lot of researchers had to connect the pieces from people from all different walks of life. I included myself, private investigators, journalists, people that study the redemption information. That's how this information, a lot of it came about. There was a book years ago called Cracking the Code. It's no longer in print. There was another book that was related like to the IRS stuff, but that was a separate book. This was a book called Cracking the Code, the Redemption Manual. It was like the earlier version of a redemption manual. It's basically one of the original redemption manuals. And you look up on Amazon, there's like another version of redemption manual. That's not the same one. The original Cracking the Code came out years ago, and there was a journalist, his name was Barton Butts. And despite the fact there's those gatekeepers that say, well, he went to jail, this, that, and other, they always try to use that. But Barton Butts, big shout out, kudos to him. He was a main contributor, as well as Dan Benham from Michigan and others, Roger Elvick out of Ohio, that pieced this information together. It was a collective of people, because this gatekeeper out there that's still out there, I'm not going to say the name for the time being, they're trying to lump everybody in the same category. There's different philosophies, but I can say this: I actually studied in the movement, so don't listen to that other lady out there. You're gonna hear real facts from me. I have documentation, paperwork, evidence to prove what I do talk about. There is certain like stuff I don't go into that's real high up, and the reason so I wanted to go into, I go over the documentaries because when I go over some of the high level stuff, some people don't understand it. It's too in depth for them. Now, some of you guys on the chat know a lot of the basic stuff already. Some of you all who've been following me a while now that chime in on various topics that bring things up. And it's kind of like we play chess with each other. I want to let you guys know I'm not a know-it-all either. I learn from you just as well as you guys can learn from me. My subscribers, you all have all the power. And I do appreciate those who continue to follow me, those who supported me, thumbs up my videos. Appreciate you, most definitely, no doubt. But the original history, okay, someone just jumped in. Do you have any new information about the Iraqi dinar? From Infinite Wave. Question. No, actually, no, not really. I just hear pretty much the same thing. Just like you guys know, I did reiterate in the previous video, I really don't talk about that as much anymore because of some of the people real high up. I won't necessarily call them gatekeepers, but the shadow people that are behind the scenes in control of all of this. I don't want to be a conflict of interest for what they have going on. Hold on, by the way, I just gotta answer this. All right, thank you guys for joining me. I'm back to finish answering your question. Jim Jones says, really appreciate your input, keep up the good work. Here, just wanted to check the time here. Okay, just wanted to check the time there. That radio is acting up. But to answer, get back to Infinite Waves question, do appreciate the question. The latest I heard on Iraqi dinar is pretty much the same thing. It's closer to happening. I was discussing with someone the other day that unlike the Iranian rial, the sanctions have been lifted. I thought I heard the same thing about the Iranian rial, but I heard that's going to be in the second basket. There was, I don't know what they plan to do. Like the people that are controlling this at the very top ultimately decide when this is going to happen. It is very frustrating, I will tell you, and how, in my opinion, how they lump the prosperity packages in with the dinar. And the main reason, a lot of emphasis, just because some of you guys may not be aware, if you haven't done your research, YouTube has removed certain videos or certain information. People that discuss this topic that used to be online are no longer online anymore. But it's all right. Some of them were trolls and were haters out there. Some people who were in the know that are real high up, they like to brag about what they know and, you know, put other people down, stuff like that. I don't do that. I want to try to provide the best information and let you guys know where you can go look up information. But that's why I do give a disclaimer. I encourage you guys to do your research, because I did my research behind the dinar. A friend of mine back before 2011 is actually the end part of December 2010. He reminded me, because I had originally heard about the dinar all the way back in 2006. No lie. I used to go to this class. This older gentleman mentioned a particular bank. I won't say the name. He said, go to this particular bank. He said, hurry up and get it. They tried to, years later, they tried to deny the fact that they sold it or whatever. I don't know if, you know, they still are, because there was another bank that did the same thing but used to sell it. I had some people that told me they had confirmation they actually picked some up, but I'm not saying either one of these banks, because I don't want it to be a conflict of interest, because what people do behind the scenes too is people say this person said something, and this is why I give a disclaimer, and then they'll blow that particular bank up or call them up and this, that, and other, and it just turns into a whole bunch of chaos. So that's why I still say, at the same time, I encourage you guys to do your research, but I'll try to share as much as I can, or as much as I do know, without being a conflict of interest to what's going on behind the scenes. And like I said, to reiterate, the people real high up at the top pulling the strings ultimately are controlling when this is gonna go down. And I'm going to go over some documentaries, must watch. You can watch for free on YouTube, by the way. Dwayne Samuels, where's the best place to get the dinar? I say recommend do your research. I can't really answer that question. This is public on here. I don't really go into that. Sylvia Miles says, can you share anything about the Vietnamese dong? It's pretty much the similar thing, Sylvia Miles, to answer your question. The previous question by Dwayne, I say investigate, do your research on the internet, because similar to you guys, I was going to mention this earlier, but I'm just in the same boat because it's certain information that I was part of. Some of the redemption stuff was tied in with this information. I won't go into how I know, and I had to connect pieces throughout the years. I'm kind of speaking in code in a way, cryptically, but you know, I did a lot of research. I'm studying to find out, matching up with certain information, what people taught me or told me, I mean, and that's why I'm going to go over these documentaries real quick. Eric Tillman says, hello, greetings to you, Eric Tillman. Thank you for joining. Please check out Money Masters. You can watch it for free on YouTube. Also, Monopoly Men. I can't reiterate this enough. Must watch documentaries. If you haven't saw them yet, they will help connect the pieces. Also, for those of you all who just asked questions about the dinar and the dong, please check out Changes on the Horizon. Please check out, it's called Changes on the Horizon. There was like a part 1 through 3. What they ended up doing was they put it, someone uploaded an uncut version on YouTube where you can watch it straight through. I always reiterate, I've gone over that movie numerous times because there's still newbies, people who are just joining. Some of this information you're not gonna, it's not gonna be taught in college universities either. So keep that in mind. That's the reason why I go over Monopoly Men. It's a long documentary, but very, very educational. Also, please check out Money Masters. No, originally I meant Money Masters. That's very long. Monopoly Men is shorter, but it's along the same lines. Dwayne Samuels says, thank you, appreciate you, no doubt. But just to help answer your question, Changes on the Horizon. Thank you, Sylvia Miles says, yeah, no doubt. But to help reiterate, Samuel, is what I did is there's a lot of retailers, it looks like, online. I'm not saying anyone in particular, so they can't say that I'm trying to pump a particular retailer. I guess you have to get permission from that too. Some people just do it like promote different products or whatnot. I was thinking about down the road, there's some health products I was going to share just from my own personal experience, but they didn't ask me for any endorsement. You have to be sure, clear to you know, let that be known because of all the copyright and stuff like that, the laws and stuff out here. So I just want to make sure I'm following the rules. Jan B says, Dwayne, safedinar.com's okay, it's good. Well, that's from them. I can't really, you know, mention you know, I'm not going to mention any sites because I'm not, like I said, to reiterate, I'm not pumping any websites. I'm not affiliated with any of those sites. If I am, it's through somebody I don't even know if they work for them. It would be by mere coincidence, but I don't pump any I'm not pumping any particular site dealing with the reset thing. I will answer questions because it's meant to be private too. Keep that in mind. This is not meant to be public. Those out there, I was part of a private clandestine operation some years ago, and we had some people who violated the rules, and everybody else had to suffer as a result of that. Someone said, Job B says, greetings. Hey, Dorsey. Hey, thank you for joining, Job B. So there were some people that violated the rules back then, and I don't know if they got in any trouble, but all the rest of us who were part of this had to suffer as a result. I'm not saying the name, but some of you all might know what I'm talking about. When we received those black cards, I went through all the hell that we had to go through to file the paperwork, to do the stuff to receive it. Then I find out there's individuals who are out there being very flamboyant with their transactions. They didn't even wait. The individual was supposed to go over with us how to use the card specifically. There was individual I heard, there was actually a conference call, some audios that leaked out there. They used to be online. You might still be able to find them on TalkShoe. I'm not sure. But they discussed, there was one guy who was buying expensive sports cars. He was reselling them. I don't know who he was, but I don't know if they got in trouble or got punished, but they made all the rest of us suffer as a result. And I followed all the rules. That's why I decided lately to not go back because I was actually discussing this with a friend of mine yesterday. He said he could see, it's like, I don't know if I could trust these people. He compared it similar to, let's say there's a guy that deals with the black market or the underground economy where he wants to sell you something, and he wants you to meet him behind a back alley somewhere in the city. And what it does, he wants the transaction to be private because he doesn't really want to be public. But at the same time, my friend was saying this to me, that makes you vulnerable. And I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to keep, I said, instead of vacillating, going back and forth, I might as well just step back and say, hey, I don't want to be part of the Kingship Manor Coalition thing. I'm through, you know. I'm like, you know, fine. You know, I would like to receive, because they still are holding my personal documents, my birth certificate, my social security card. I would like to know what the heck happened to that. My paperwork that was filed with the DTC. Yeah, I said it. You know, and it's been some years. I also submitted a thumb drive, and they said, the individual told us we were going to get all that back. So I was expecting to receive all of that back. So you can imagine all these years later, I'm kind of ticked off, and you feel like, you know, it's a waste of time, because now all of a sudden another individual wants to start sharing the information that he knew about all this time. That's time wasted. People could have been trained all these years. It's a waste of time. You know, especially if they were going to hold the prosperity programs up. The concept was the reason why we had the black card. That was supposed to pacify us. That was supposed to make us, you know, give us, you know, something in the meantime while we were waiting. It gives you an incentive to be patient when you at least get I'm not a money hungry person, but I'm just saying these people come from an elite background. They were taught by their parents. They were sent to private schools by invitation only. I'm going to get back to the chat too, by the way, just so you guys know. I do appreciate you for joining me, but I want to finish because sometimes you guys go nonstop and I don't get finished going over what I intend to go over in this discussion. But I had to give clarification, because a lot of people asked me. I did take those previous particular video down that I did on that operation. I just said the name temporarily, but I feel like my friend was saying, like, similar to, he was comparing it to, say, somebody who wants to sell you a DVD, or somebody selling drugs, and they want you to meet somewhere in a dark street in a back alley. And, you know, the problem is that it makes you vulnerable. And he said very similar to this private clandestine operation that I was part of. It makes people who are part of that vulnerable, because who's to say they want you to send cryptocurrency to them now? Who's to say if they don't like your political views down the road or what you talk about, then they can just take your money away? And it was a guy years ago that had heard about this around the time, this group that I used to study with in Detroit, and he was part of the Hebrew Israelites. And yeah, I'm not gonna say his name. I thought about it, because I say, the reason I say names sometimes is to show validity, credibility, that these are real people, that I'm not just making this up. But even he said years ago, he gave an example. He said this is like the welfare of the rich, basically, where they can control what you have. And I'm just saying, just for example, it makes one vulnerable. So I was part of other opportunities. I didn't put all my eggs in one basket. Hopefully these people will keep their word. They will do what they're going to do, because I feel as though if they claim they're going to do humanitarian projects and they're sincere and they want to help the world, if it starts first with helping the people that you recruited, the people that attend your seminars. Treat them like actual people instead of numbers. And they should have punished the people who did what they did with the black card years ago, so all the rest of everybody else who followed the rules during this time period didn't have to suffer as a result. Then you would not have people who are really frustrated or pissed off at you and maybe want to do some other things. They would alleviate that problem if they simply, you know, did things properly and didn't make everybody else suffer as a result, and just dealt with those individuals specifically if this was so private and they wanted things to run smoothly. In my opinion, it seems like in a way that they were doing this on purpose. I can't say for sure, like they were trying to force people to want to give up, you know, at the end of the day. But that's deceptive in the fact that they recruited us, and when the individual came out, he said he was looking for people within the redemption movement at the time. People like Winston Strout, Dr. Sam Kennedy, Gene Keating, other people, just to throw a few names out there, that I'm gonna round everybody up and I'm gonna bring them into the DTC, you know. But it didn't turn out that way. I'm just saying this is the real story, and I wouldn't have never attended had my older cousin in the DC area not even encouraged me to go. He kind of you know, talked me into it, but you know, at the end of the day, I still had to decide to go. What got me, he said, you'll meet other like-minded people there, and I said, okay, why not? why not give it a shot? But if I'd have known all this, that, you know, it was going to turn into a big mess and crap and be this heavily controlled by these puppet masters, and they would pretend to be the nice guys and Christians, you know, I wouldn't have never attended, you know. So someone, Jason Durham in the chat says, great job, brother. I'm going to go back to the previous statements. I didn't mean to rant so long. Just see if I can scroll back down. Terry McLaughlin says, hey, y'all, I'm not trying to make anyone mad on here, speaking to the crowd on here, but he can't talk or say certain things like he's saying, do your research. Okay, this part, it faded out. So when I'm on my phone, unlike my laptop, the message goes out, so I have to bring it right back up just to let you guys know. And having issues again because this other chat window, this is silly. Okay, I may figure out how to get rid of that. Okay, I had to punch it again. He can't talk or say certain things like he's doing, so do research. He will give you little bits. Take notes. This will help. Thank you, Terry McLaughlin, for sharing that to the others out there. Let me see. Jason Durham says, my Jabi says, try doing things. The UCSC in Jersey, they love messing with you. I'm not sure who the UCSC is, or that acronym at the time, or the UCC. He said, Uniform Commercial Code. There's a way to use that too, by the way. CJ says, love what you're doing. Much love from Arkansas. Appreciate the shout out, CJ. Thank you for joining the chat. Let me see what this says. Benny from Divine Intel wants to chat with you. Jim Jones says, okay, no problem. You know, we can figure out how to set that up. Jim Jones, if Benny wants to contact me, he can reach me at Dorsey's Resource 2017 at gmail.com. That's Dorsey's Resource 2017 at gmail.com. And that's for serious inquiries. Another thing just reminded me of, I had someone recently in the comment section leave their telephone number. I don't tell people, do not leave your telephone numbers. I'm a private person. I don't do private consultations. I have reached out to people in the past, but I do have a busy schedule. As you guys can see, I'm still on a graveyard shift. I'm actually at what I call the slavery plantation now. You know, would have liked to get out of this a long time ago had things happen. You know, individuals wouldn't be as frustrated. I'm just saying, you know, hey, but what can you do? You know, so, but don't leave your telephone number, please, unless I tell you guys, unless I have made arrangements. I had people inbox me, because I've helped out people in the past. Trust me, I've had numerous people. I did a screen capture video some time ago when I had this troll say something just to show that there were people who thanked me for the information I shared. They've contacted me through my different social media accounts. I do appreciate it, and I would like to do more things. However, I would have to reach out to a branding service. If you guys know anybody that is good at like building websites or could have helped me take things to the next level, you know, that would be a great help. And it's kind of a mistake on my part. I had the chance to do this some years back, and maybe because I didn't want to spend the money, but I'm thinking I should have, because I could grow a better base, and then I may be able to get assistance down the road and be able to answer a lot of the questions, and we can formulate a better tight-knit community. What I was thinking about doing down the road, maybe this isn't etched in stone, was maybe having like a meet and greet, and mainly I wanted to recruit people who are in the Michigan area for serious inquiries only, people who wanted to help, people who are already, I'm not saying you necessarily have to be advanced, but like a meet and greet where we could form like-minded communities and people, because I would like to network with people who are like-minded into this this type of information as well. Now, there's other things that I'm into. Just to let you guys know, I'm not a one-dimensional person, by the way, but it's just this information is high level, and I would like to get things done. By the way, go back to the chat. Was there another message? It looked like, okay, looks like it got deleted. I thought I saw another message in the chat. Once again, this is open forum Q&A. Documentaries, I went over Money Masters, Monopoly Men, and Changes on the Horizon. By the way, to connect the dots, another good, excellent documentary is called Endgame. Please check out Endgame by Alex Jones. This came out some years ago. And the reason I'm going over this, even though it's an old documentary, it's called In-Game Blueprint for Global Enslavement. You can watch it for free on YouTube. I reiterate, it's free. If you don't have the money to buy it from his website, then you can go on YouTube, watch it for free. The reason why I recommend this documentary, as well as others, it helps connect the pieces together. Because a lot of people I've talked to, when I do meet, still don't get it. They may be awake to the truth in one area, but other areas, they're not awake to the truth. And I think it's important to be versatile, to be well-rounded, because these documentaries will help really connect the pieces together. Another good documentary is called Scientists Are Under Attack. I believe you have to go online. They don't have this free on YouTube. I bought it some years ago. It's called Scientists Are Under Attack. You can buy it online. Just Google it or Yahoo search it. It's called Scientists Are Under Attack, and it goes over, interviews different scientists from around the world that deals with our food agriculture, how one corporation in particular had been poisoning our food supply and crops and tricking farmers into, you know, this is real wicked stuff. And the guy, I won't say the name of this particular corporation, but I hear a guy in California actually won his lawsuit. The jury agreed that the chemical from the same company that's known for doing this other stuff, I'm not going to say their name, caused cancer in this guy, and he actually won his lawsuit. I was stunned. I remember seeing it some years back, and I just saw it brought up again recently. But that documentary will bring up that company's name, called Scientists Are Under Attack. So I'm just giving you guys a little jewel to show you I've done my research. I actually do my homework, and I do take notes too. So I'm not just saying this stuff off the top of the head, but this is stuff that I've already researched, and it's a reason why I mention these documentaries and why they will connect the pieces together. I'm trying to think of some other important ones. Oh, Ring of Power, Empire of the City. Please check out Ring of Power, Empire of the City. Another documentary that's good before I shut things down, so I am on a time span. Let me see what time I got here. Okay. Another excellent documentary, please check out Conspiracy of Silence. This came out some years ago. It was actually banned. It's on YouTube. You can watch it for free. Look up, it's called Conspiracy of Silence. It'll have like the cinematography of the imagery. It's an older film, but if you can endure it, there are some versions where they tried to basically redo it so it's a lot clearer, but the footage is going to be older footage. But please check out this documentary in your spare time, your free time, or whatever, and share this with others, your aunties, your loved ones, your nieces, your children, your grandma. It will explain like things that are happening today, what's going on back then. Please check it out. And I'm going to go over the names of certain individuals in the documentary. One of them I can say rest in peace to. He did a lot of work. His name was Ted Gunderson. Please research. You can watch his videos for free on YouTube. Watch as many of his videos as you can. It'll help connect the pieces. He was a former FBI agent, just to give you guys a little background. He retired from it. He even apologized for being a member, part of the COINTELPRO that was used to against the Black Panthers years ago back then, during with J. Edgar Hoover or whatever. But Ted Gunderson used to work for the FBI, and he woke up to some things many years later, and he helped people. And I won't spoil it for you guys, but very credible individual. Please do your research. Honorable man. Rest in peace to Ted Gunderson. Thank you for his work that he did, and shout out to his loved ones if he has any descendants or loved ones that are still out there. Also, Jim Marrs. He wrote the book Ruled by Secrecy, by the way. I forgot he had died some years ago. So many pioneers in the movement going over books. Please check out Jim Marrs as well. And rest in peace to Jim Marrs. And big shout out to him, all his loved ones and descendants as well, and remembering Jim Marrs. Also, if you can, check out all of David Icke's books. David Icke's stuff is on point. Check out Christopher Everard. Christopher Everard, he's based out of the UK, the United Kingdom. Good researcher. Check out Christopher Everard. Also check out Jordan Maxwell. Please check out Jordan Maxwell, aka The Godfather. Please check out whoever I can think of offhand. Michael Tessarian. He's a historian from back in the day. Some of these names, these people were featured in documentaries on certain shows that were aired on cable, so they may have been famous years ago. You may not have heard about them, but they're still on YouTube. Check out Michael Tessarian, and if you get a chance, download, get the software to download their videos so you can archive it, because you know, the censorship stuff. They want to try to remove as much educational information as possible. We can bypass all of that. And that's why I'm sharing this high-powered, action-packed information with you guys, to let you guys know I've done my research. All these people I mentioned, how many people can you do you know in the video has shared all of these people with you? Just, I'm going off the top of the head. These are people I've researched. I've had friends of mine, other people share these people with me years ago, and I still have their videos archived. But reason I'm going over this, they will give you, before you move to the high level information, that's even with paperwork, even in a redemption movement. These people used to tell me years ago, they said, if you don't understand the history, brother, you won't understand this paperwork or where you're going. And I get where they're coming from now. They wanted me to see the esoteric side behind when you read paperwork, contracts, documents. They wanted me to know it has a deeper meaning, like the court system is encrypted. And these people, these documentaries and people help you connect the pieces. They've even gone over some of the same information. By the way, like with the birth certificate, the history behind it, where it originated from. Jordan Maxwell, like the how years ago the Port Authority had to provide the certificate of manifest for the ship. That was basically similar to your driver's license. The ship's weight, the height, the color, like your driver's license has this information. Years ago was based on a concept called berthing, where the captain of the ship, the Port Authority, the captain had to provide for the Port Authority a certificate of manifest. That's where the concept of your birth certificate comes from. This Admiralty maritime law. Admiralty is military, a maritime is law of the seas. But hold on. Okay, I'm back, guys. I want to thank you. So hurry up. Like I said, I'm on a limited time period, but I wanted to go over. I went over Conspiracy of Silence. Please check that out. Also look up these books on Amazon.com. There was a guy that was involved in this. His name, he was a former lawyer named John D. Camp. Please look up John D. Camp. He wrote a book. I can't remember what it was called specifically, but this will help pull it up, because I'm going to give you the name of an investigative journalist who wrote a similar book as well. The investigative journalist's name was Nick Bryant, but it's called The Franklin Scandal. It was the name of one book, or Franklin Cover-Up. They each wrote two separate books basically on this incident that happened years ago, and it's based upon this movie called Conspiracy of Silence. It was banned years ago, but you can watch it for free on YouTube. It's supposed to air on the Discovery Channel, but look up former attorney John D. Camp. He's rest in peace to him as well. God rest his soul. And look up Nick Bryant's book, Franklin Cover-Up or Franklin Scandal, by an investigative journalist named Nick Bryant. Very important information, will help connect the pieces, what's really going on. This is a genuine issue as to material fact. It's a legal terminology in the court system. I'm going over evidence, things that are substantial, proven. Archive this stuff before they try to shut it down and get rid of it. One more person I'm going to go over before I shut this video down. Please check out Noreen Gosh. She's the mother. She led to what's known as the modern day Amber Alert system. She lobbied when her son was kidnapped years ago. I won't spoil it for you all, but she was on the the story aired on the Nancy Grace show years ago. I had a relative who used to watch Nancy Grace. I used to love watching her show and things, and some real deep stuff. I could go into details about, but I won't. But just to give you guys research, you can Google, Yahoo search all of these people I'm mentioning. Please check out Noreen Gosh. She led to what's known as the modern day Amber Alerts. She lobbied for it, and it's actually online evidence how her love for her son after he was kidnapped, not giving up, pushed for legislation that led to what's known as the modern day Amber Alert system. For the ladies out there, yes, very high powered information. You want to thank Noreen Gosh. Give her big shout out, big kudos to her. Now, I want to thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to, unfortunately, got to shut things down. You can follow me at Dorsey's Resource. I'm on Facebook at Dorsey's Resource. I'm on Twitter at Dorsey's Resource. And, of course, YouTube at Dorsey's Resource. I'm also on Gab.ai at Dorsey's Resource, Minds.com at Dorsey's Resource. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm at Dorsey's Resource _2019. at Dorsey's Resource _2019 on Instagram. And don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the bell, notification bell, so whenever I put out new videos, you guys will receive the updates in the upper right-hand corner. Want to thank you guys for joining me. I'm your host, John Dorsey. Until next time.